Iron Legion. Since our people can remember, we have been part of the fight, protecting space in a great ball surrounding them. Inorganic creatures that only know to spread, devour, and spread some more. Our claws, wings, tentacles, fangs, scales, and countless other natural weapons were put to use against these creatures, and while we fought, we kept watch. We watched for the small races. The budding intelligences and cunning predators, we nurtured each one, showed them how to use their natural given weapons, and when they were ready, brought them to the front to join the fight. But as it always is with nature, evolution has its dead ends. So when we found these furry creatures swinging from trees to land in the plains of their own world, we were saddened but not disappointed. Such is the way of the universe. I was tasked with watching their progress and reporting their inevitable demise. So I watched as the tree-dwelling creatures picked up rocks to throw at their faster-clawed brothers, used broken branches and shards of bone to hunt their horned brothers, using determination and cunning to hunt the strongest of the herd. They grew strong on the flesh of their betters, and soon they left the trees and began to hunt in true form. Through many lives, my memory moved from body to body. I watched as they simply chased their opponent, wearing them down until the brave bull lay down to die, the noble mammoth gasp and beg. Even the intelligent wolf, master of the frozen wastes, would lie before the tall hunter from the trees. Over time, their fur thinned. Nature did not like this creature. So they killed those with thick fur and wore it in triumph. Then nature gave them a trial of water, heating the ice and drowning many. But again the tall hunters made their solution. They did not take to the water and live amongst the fish. They cut down their former homes and tamed the water, letting the trees bear their weight. And so I watched as they settled. Huts became houses. Beasts of the wild became cattle. Poison became medicine. Every facet of nature was broken apart and rebuilt to serve the human, as they called themselves. And when nature began to run out of challenges, they gave themselves the greatest challenge: each other. The spears became arrows, stones became hammers and swords, hide became metal. They tore from the earth what nature could not give. Metal became their hide and claws. In interest more than anything, I watched as they fought in greater numbers, building better claws instead of evolving them. A spark of worry nestled itself in my subconscious. The sword turned into the gun. Houses and wooden walls became stone castles and cities. Cities spawned empires, and empires evolved. The gun evolved as well. It surpassed the bow, and the sword could not match it. It brought death to whoever met it. Soon the gun could shoot faster, further, with more accuracy than the best evolved weapons we had. Spines and scales would do nothing against a gun big enough, and the humans built them bigger and better. To counter this, they began protecting themselves. Stone became sand, to better absorb the shock of the bullet. Battles in plains became long lines of soldiers hoping to outgun their opponent. Empires pushed against each other, striving to become the alpha, and then it happened. The key weapon of the non-organics was rebuilt on this struggling world. As one empire in the north fell, another in the south was subject to this weapon. 2 cities fell, and the empire laid itself in mercy. The spark flared bright. I sent for another watcher. With 2, we watched. The wounds of war healed. Small conflicts broke out and were snuffed. The Alpha Empire ruled supreme. The soldiers had fabrics and materials that could stop the gun. Beasts of metal that had the power of armies roamed through battle, delivering order wherever they passed. The humans kept developing. The weapon was perfected. The power increased. And soon they launched themselves upon us, celebrating their success as they walked across my shell. They soon returned, and all went quiet for years. Their beats became refined, sleek, and powerful like the beasts that roam the plains. Humans built new armor for themselves, so they could match their metal slaves. A visit to their near planet, inhospitable to life, was accomplished, and then the unexpected happened. Life flourished. They blossomed out, and soon life was around my shell, a city on my surface. Then unexpectedly, war began anew. Soldiers clad in metal fought. The red planet raged against the blue, and neither could win. I consulted my other, and we agreed to wait. See what happens. Will they finally die? They didn't. Metal reigned supreme. Soldiers who would have fallen before the tank now marched in order, unflinching before devastating shell after shell. I looked deeper and found out why. They had another layer of defense, invisible to my normal senses. I took action. Breaking my shell, I called out and they stopped their millennia-long struggle to hear my message. I told them of the inorganic, of the bubble we fought to maintain, how the last 100 races that joined had barely managed to stem the rising tide. The push of the inorganic. They asked many questions and I gave many answers. With my guidance, a ship was made. My organics were fused with their metal and they went to see this eternal war. Finally, they had something great to strive for. They studied what we had and improved upon it. Then they joined the fight. Legions of metal soldiers held the line alongside Scales and Feather. I share this with you all new, because I have a new message. The humans' Iron Legions has done the impossible. They pushed back.